Okay, so remember when Goose said, when the series ends, I hope someone makes a compilation of all the Raggedy Ann and Andy references in the show? Well, guess what? I didn't even know she said that when I started writing for this video, but well, I guess the stars aligned because we're diving into all of the parallels, references, and connections between The Amazing Digital Circus and Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure.
You'll probably love it.
If you haven't watched the musical, don't worry, I'll summarize as we go, but spoilers ahead. So the story actually starts in Marcella's nursery, where we meet her toys, Raggedy Ann and her brother Andy, among others. Now, it's common knowledge that Ragatha's design is inspired by Raggedy Ann, and Jax's voice references Andy, but the parallels run so much deeper. Right off the bat, Ann is exactly like Ragatha. Both are the optimist of the group, approachable, friendly, always there to help and remind others to just be nice. And then there's Andy. He's introduced as this tough boy who likes stereotypical masculine things like doing push-ups and absolutely not participating in tea parties. He's independent, vocal about his opinions, and not afraid to insult people. If that doesn't scream Jax, I don't know what is. Jax is also inspired by other characters in the movie, but we'll talk about them when the time comes. But the key difference between Jax and Andy, though, is that Andy openly loves his sister, and he's not afraid to be vulnerable sometimes, especially around her. And Jax, well, he's terrified of vulnerability, even next to people who won't judge him. And let's not forget that both are easily embarrassed by girly things. Andy doesn't want to be a girl's toy, and Jax lost it over the maid dress. You get the idea. Oh, and Jax complaining about too many girls in Goose's old art? Well, that's a direct reference to what Andy is saying in the musical.
Too many girls!
Now that we're past the introduction, let me rapid fire some more references before we get into the actual story. The sun in TADC is inspired by the one in the movie. Ragatha's piano is identical to Ann's. Marcella's other toys feel trapped in the nursery, just like the circus members are trapped. This sock toy kinda reminds me of this developer's design, and the jester toy of course reminds me of Pomni. And this potato sack, I don't know why, but it screams Kaufma to me. Probably because I miss him so much, I miss you, Coffee. And Andy's line here,
I've been hurt enough. Packages landing on my head, tea parties, dancing lessons.
well, Raggedy says it word for word in episode 4. Now let's get into the actual story. The plot kicks off when a new toy, Babette, enters the nursery. She's a French doll who wants to get back to Paris until a pirate kidnaps her because he loves her. We're not going to talk about that, and we're especially not talking about how they end up together. But here's the thing, Anne is the first to welcome Babette, offering warmth and friendship, and Ragatha does the exact same thing with Pomni in the show's pilot. Babette and Pomni play the same role in their narratives, the newcomer who disrupts the status quo. Babette is different, Pomni is different, and both of them force the group to change, kicking off their respective stories. When Anne and Andy go to rescue Babette, they start singing Candy Hearts and Paper Flowers, and Kane uses the exact same phrase to address the circus members in episode 5.
Candy hearts and paper flowers?
Which is, by the way, supposedly Ragatha's episode. Coincidence? I do not think so. And this song is literally about Andy showing his softer side and expressing love for his sister, which I absolutely loved. And Jax does the exact same thing singing Daisy with Pomni. For a moment, he allows himself to be closer to someone. Oh, and Andy actually carries a paper daisy when the song starts. Moving on, the siblings hear something in the woods.
What's that?
What?
That.
And many believe that their conversation here inspired this dialogue between Pomni and Kinger.
What was that?
What's what?
And then we meet the camel. This guy is tripping for half the movie. He, just like Kane, was abandoned at some point. He was someone else's favorite toy, and now that he is alone, he got a bit crazy, hearing other camels calling to him. Just like the fudge monster hears the candy people calling, and they even have the same hypnotized eyes. The camel story is extremely sad. It just reminds me of what Kinger said in episode 3 about making sure everyone is wanted and loved. And that's exactly what Anne and Andy do for this camel. They don't hesitate to become friends instantly. While they sing, the sky is sparkling with stars and it looks so mesmerizing. I'm not really sure if Goose was inspired by this or not, but the night skies in the show actually look just as phenomenal as those in the movie. But the camel also gives pure abstraction vibes. His colorful eyes, the desire to go to this yellow light, and his fellow camels reaching out to him before he jumps off a cliff and falls into this dark pit below. He doesn't even care if he puts the dolls in danger. And all these things sound so familiar to what Jax was going through when he almost abstracted. Ribbit reaching out to him, the trippy visions, the colorful eyes, following a yellow light, and if he did abstract, he'd go into the dark pit that is the cellar. Andy even says,
This is really weird.
this is a line that Jax also repeats in episode 4.
This is really weird.
In the dark pit below, we meet Mr. Greedy. The fudge monster from the show is 100% inspired by him. The same voice, the same insatiable hunger for candy, and the Candy Kingdom must have been inspired by this candy pit.
This is real sticky.
Sounds sticky.
After escaping this monster, the characters enter Looneyland, and this is where I found so many crazy references I was shocked. Here we meet Leonard Looney, this tall, lanky, purple prankster who doesn't care about anyone's feelings. Sounds like anyone we know. And to be fair, he also reminds me of Kane, cause he's a creative inventor and he seems to lack empathy for the dolls. But when he gives Anne a black eye, I literally gasped. Because it's on the same side Raggedy has her button eye and fans headcanon that she has a black eye there in real life. More rapid fire references here cause I don't want this to be extra long. So they get eaten by this hole and inside everything is black and white, which may have inspired the bar scene from episode 5. Checkered floors everywhere, spiral stairs, crazy stuff happening. This place looks exactly like the circus but monochrome. They run into the king of Looneyland. He's not quite Kinger, but his name is King Cuckoo. Put king and crazy in the same sentence and I'll think of Kinger, I don't care. I'll take this as the reference. And he calls Anne Dollface, just like Jax calls Raggy in the pilot. Also, all the jesters are blue, yellow, white, and red, exactly Pomni's character colors. By the end of the movie, they rescue Babette and go home with their new friend Camel. But not before this, Diva makes the iconic eye-high kicks that the Rockettes are known for. It's the same dance move that the cast makes in episode 8. Finally, when Marcella finds her toys outside, we actually find out that they haven't been far away from home at all. They just have a real wild imagination, I guess. Foreshadowing for the end of the series? Nah, this couldn't be. Unless... What I found so fascinating out of all these references and connections is that characters like Jax, Kane, and Kinger share multiple traits with multiple characters from the musical. Jax is masculine but soft inside like Andy, a ruthless pranker like Leonard, and he even resembles the camel, who basically gave up on life at some point. Kane resembles Leonard and the camel as well, and Kinger has common traits with both the camel and the crazy king, and I find all these connections so satisfying to catch. Anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I know I probably missed many references, cause there were a lot, but please feel free to drop them in the comments, and this way maybe we can make a complete list of all the references. Give me a like if you learned something new, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Goodbye!